Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name is FPL Phillips and finally, after what's felt like a very long international break, we are back with another episode of Eddie versus the Algorithm, the series where I'm taking on a computer generated team every game week of the 38-week long season and seeing how many game weeks out of those I can beat a computer team. So far, it's not going too well for me. I was doing very well at this point last season. This time, I'm losing. I'm actually 4-3 down after game week 7 as the algorithm gained an edge over me in that one as well. There was a few players in there, but one player in particular, I can't even remember who it was, who did really well last game week. That's how long it's been. My dementia is starting to kick in. But yeah, we'll get into today's video, have a look at the Algo team, have a look at my own team. You guys can let me know who you guys think is going to score the most points this game week with the highest predicted point scoring players from the computer, and then also my own assessment and free hit draft, if you will. So without any more nattering about, let's get into things, shall we? I think I meant to say nattering there, but I said natting, but we'll go with it. We'll make up some new words as we go along with this series. We're all about having fun here, and the Algo team this week is trying to have fun by scoring well with 61 predicted points for this game week. Not the funnest figure that we've ever seen, obviously, in this series, but to be honest, I'm feeling a little bit bored ahead of game week 8. I don't feel like many people are making too many transfers. We've not had too many shock injuries. The most exciting injury news is around Matt Sells, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper. So when that's big news in the FPL community, you know it's going to be a bit of a stinky game week as far as entertainment goes. But we'll see who the algorithm's gone with in goal first of all. It's going to be David Raya, so we'll stick him with that boring theme, are we? So, algorithm. Bournemouth away, not the easiest fixture in the world for Arsenal in my opinion, but of course they've been pretty solid defensively so far this year. I can see Arsenal conceding in that game is just the thing. It's an away fixture. Bournemouth have been pretty good attackingly. I think they're in the top 5 for XG. If not, then very close to it. So, Semenyo, Evan Nilsson, they've got some good attacking force in there. They've been good at home. Personally, I'm not sure it's the game week to target the Arsenal defence, but the algorithm certainly thinks so. Gabriel's made it into this side as well. Obviously, with him, you've got some serious attacking potential and threat, in particular from set pieces. So, Gabriel is almost better than most wing-backs or full-backs as attacking options to go for in defence at the moment. And he's partnered alongside Akanji and Vardiol, who are both predicted to start from some of the key sources I look at for predicting Pep Guardiola. So Akanji looks like he might get a start in this one, and Vardiol as well. So Vardiol pretty nailed on. Rico Lewis might start in that game. I think the back four is very difficult to predict what system Pep's going to go for in this one. But Akanji, for all intents and purposes, if anyone does own him, someone out there maybe does, looks like he might start this week, and Lewis might actually be on the bench from what I've seen in a few predictions, but he's made it in for the algorithm. In midfield, we're going to see Salah, Gordon, Johnson, and McNeil. So we finally see some home fixtures with the entirety of the 4 defensive picks being away from home. We've got Salah, Gordon, and Johnson in here, and Gordon is the pick that I think is the one to talk about, really. Salah, good option at home to Chelsea. Not too much complaints there from me. Johnson has been in some fine form. You could go for Heung-min Son, who looks like he's going to be back and fit from Angie's comments so far. But Johnson obviously offers better value and more funds to spend elsewhere. And he's in this bit of form at the moment where you'd be silly to kind of not capitalise on him if you're the algorithm picking your one-week team. Gordon is one that I really like because Brighton have been pretty poor defensively, and actually they do concede a lot of chances from down Gordon's flank, and in particular a lot of goals have actually resulted from the ball coming down that side. So Gordon is a very good pick this week. I don't know how much of the algorithm's mathematics actually comes from stuff like that, but I'm pretty impressed with the selection, to be honest. Not something that I thought about massively, but something that I did see in the stats and the breakdown of where chances are conceded from and everything. So kudos to the algorithm with that one. And then Dwight McNeil, who's been in some decent form, to be honest. And Everton have got Ipswich away. Ipswich have been conceding a lot of goals, also scoring a pretty fair amount of goals. Could we see a high-scoring one there? I certainly wouldn't write it off and say it's going to be closer to a 0-0. I'd say, if anything, we're going to have closer to 4 or 5 goals maybe in that game at least. So McNeil could equally be a very decent pick for this week and a good budget option in your midfield still, in my view. Up front, we're going to see Erling Haaland taking the captain's armband. No surprises there. He's alongside Chris Wood and Dominic Solanke. So a double up on the Spurs attack. I'm feeling like this is looking quite similar to my team, actually, that we've gone with. West Ham have been poor, have actually played a lot better in their last outing. I still think that West Ham are a team to target with their defence. Away from home, in particular, they've not looked brill. So Solanke and Johnson are in for the algorithm, and are both in for me as well, actually. Spoilers. And then Chris Wood. Crystal Palace at home. Pretty stinky defence, especially away from home. Their only good showings that I've seen defensively seem to have been when Dean Henderson decides to show up against Manchester United and games like that. But yeah, Chris Wood's been in some fine form. Still probably is the cheap forward option of choice, whilst Forest rather have some good fixtures. And then finally on the bench, we've got Dibbling, we've got Greaves, and we've got Feist. And that's actually a very interesting one in the sub-1 position as we move into having a look at my team now. And it's interesting because I've not opted to go for Dibbling as my first sub. I've actually opted to go with him and a full-on start. I was like, you know what? I actually quite fancy him. Leicester at home this week. Let me go with the most budget midfield option in the game you can pretty much go for, who's starting and looking like any sort of attacking threat. And yeah, save some money, invest it into some more premium attacking assets. So I've managed to go with Trent in defence. We've got Luis Diaz in there as well for a triple up on Liverpool, who I think might actually do quite well against Chelsea. I've still got the same front three, actually, in fact, with Haaland still on the captaincy. Johnson's in my midfield, so is Salah as well. I've gone with 2 Man City defenders, but I've gone with Lewis instead of a Kanji. Now, I might live to regret that, obviously. Have got some bench options, but even if Lewis is on the bench, I can imagine he'll get subbed on. And then actually, just almost as a bit of a joke, I've gone with the Nottingham Forest goalkeepers. Now, I do kind of back them to do well and maybe keep a clean sheet whoever starts. Not like clean sheets have been coming thick and fast at the moment in FPL. I think it's very, very difficult to get one. But I've gone with Miguel as the Forest backup keeper. And then, lo and behold, if Sells is fit and does play, I've got him as my bench goalkeeper anyway. So it won't matter either way. But my predicted points for this week are 54. I've got the captaincy on Erling Haaland, as I've mentioned. Let's have a look and a discussion quickly about whether or not anyone can rival the Norwegian for the armband for Game Week 8. So yeah, Haaland is the standout option, which is something that we're going to be saying a lot so far this season. But who are the other players you could maybe put your armband on if you're looking to go for someone a bit more differential? Well, I've got Salah, Watkins and Solanke in here for comparison. None of them, however, have a stronger fixture on paper, with Wolves' expected goals conceded being 1.93 per 90 so far this year. We've already seen them been absolutely battered by the likes of Chelsea. We've seen Brentford put a huge number of goals past them as well. I think it was 5. So, Erling Haaland in that fixture, you could maybe even take a punt on a different Man City option. But if you're back in City to do well, it just seems a bit maybe suboptimal to not go for Erling Haaland in that one. If you are going to go against him, then Solanke's got the next best fixture, 1.70 expected goals conceded per 90 for West Ham. Not brilliant at all. And then Liverpool actually are the strongest attacking force so far this season, 2.22 XG per 90 out of the teams here at least. And then individually, expected FPL points per 90, it is Mo Salah leading the way on that as well, 7.95, Erling Haaland only on 7.82. But I do just think that the kind of form aspect, I know Haaland's blanked in a few games, but from earlier in the season, when we consider that, with Wolves, how they like conceding goals, I think Man City have a fantastic record against Wolves as well. They seem to like that game, Erling Haaland. Kevin De Bruyne really likes that game as well. If he's managed to get fit and can play in that one, then that could be a big boost and an even bigger threat in terms of Wolves fearing Erling Haaland and Man City as a whole in that fixture. But yeah, I think that all in all, it is kind of just a week to go boring. I haven't got that same gut feeling that I had the kind of last 2 weeks where Haaland has blanked. I do just think he's probably the safest bet to go for on paper. Yep, so that's going to round up this week's episode of Eddie versus the Algorithm. Apologies if you've heard any noise in the background. That is just the recycling getting done. And yeah, I'll hopefully catch you in next week's video. May your arrows be green for Game Week 8. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.